Quadcast Nation. Thanks for tuning in. This is essentially a keynote with my hospital locally in terms of what it was like dealing with racism your whole life as a youth, as a healthcare provider. And the feedback I got from this was that it's provided a lot of insight. So I wanted to share this with you guys. I also wanted to also emphasize that at the end, there's a call to action on what white people and black people can do to just put us in a better spot. You know, after seeing George Floyd and other black people succumb to police violence and just systemic racism in general, I think there's a lot that we can do to improve these circumstances. And so hopefully this is helpful. It was truly heartfelt. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. So I think I'll formally start. So my name is, that don't know me, I'm Kwadwo Kyeremanteng. I am an ICU doc at the Ottawa Hospital. I also work at MO4. I also do palliative care here. And I do research at the Ottawa Hospital Research Institute and Institut de Savoir de Montfort, and a podcaster, and doing our best to get the word out on important issues out there. And so, hi Linda and Patricia, how you doing? So where to start? So first of all, I want to thank my previous speakers, Seth and Alan. They gave some amazing talks on Wednesday and Thursday in terms of their experience and in regards to racism and their insights, and they were so vulnerable and courageous, and it was really inspiring. And I must say, I'm nervous now to do my version, because they really represented hard. Yeah, they that was special. And also, Ellen, if you're watching, you told me you're from Edmonton, which is like, for sure our families know each other, for sure. Like the Ghanaian community in Edmonton is not large. Like everybody knows everybody. So yeah, if my mom is watching, I'll let her know too. Check that out, Ma. So yeah, I just really wanted to commend them for their tremendous presentations and talks. I gotta tell you, we are in a crazy time. You know, we're dealing with COVID, and then this George Floyd, this event. And I mean, as a black man, I can't even really put into words what it was like seeing this. You know, seeing another man being treated that way, with you know, having a person of authority, a white man, putting his knee on his neck and not allowing him to breathe, and him asking for his mother. It was so hard. It was so hard. And one of the things that has come out, which has been so beautiful, has been the rallies, the Black Lives Matter movement, and people reaching out, as I talked about before. And, you know, one of the common questions I would get in the last week or so is, you know, have you experienced racism, like professionally or in my personal life? And at one side of the coin, I'm like, thanks for asking and really wanting to improve your understanding. But the other side is like, of course I've experienced racism. Like, what do you think? Like, we're not sheltered from racism here in Canada. In fact, the amount of racism here is equal to what we see down south. Maybe it's just in different forms. And when you see that, or when I get asked that question, what's hard is it just brings you back to those moments. It brings you back to the trauma. Like, I mean, I think back at as early as, you know, when my eldest my eldest kid's age, 5, 6, 7, and being in a playground. We're playing football, you're getting tackled, and a bunch of kids jump on you, and they're like, "Hey, this is N-word pile. Everybody, let's go. Let's jump on the N-word." And that's I'm a child, right? And I'm feeling defenseless and hurt, and your innocence is gone when these moments are happening. I think back at playing the game I love, hockey, which I play to this day, and being called everything you could think of, everything, N-word, jigaboo, monkey, being told to go back to your country, having your life threatened on the ice, say, I will kill you, little N-word, okay? All that comes back when you see when people ask about, have you experienced racism? When you see these events with George Floyd, and how scared and alone you feel. Like, parents and coaches aren't always stepping up and defending you. You're on your own. And you think back at the times where people are saying, "Oh, you play hockey? No, you mean basketball, right? Like you're a good basketball player, I'm sure." Or you think back at the times where people ask you, "Do you speak Swahili? You must speak the one language in Africa." You think back at the times where you're dating a girl and her parents say, "I don't want you dating a black man." Like you go. You think back at the time where you enter a restaurant or a store and they don't want to serve you, because of the color of your skin. And you look back at the time, like one of my, I don't want to say fond moments, one of the most clear moments I had with my father, rest in peace, was, as a teen, sitting me down. I come back with my marks. I think with my report card, I think I'm doing good actually. And he sits me down, and he says, "You cannot be mediocre. You need to be doing more. Look at the color of your skin, okay? This isn't enough." Excuse me. You think your friends you think if you have the same marks, you have the same abilities, and you apply to a school, or you apply for a job with a Mike Smith, you think you're going to have the same opportunities? Absolutely not. Don't be ignorant. I think about those moments, and all this gets brought back when George Floyd incidents happen, or any police brutality on black men or women. Like, all this comes back, and it's hard, and it's sad, and I'm angry, like, straight up. Like, just the anger is like, it's palpable. And you think about even professionally, like, you think as you get more, education, you get more experience, like, some of this got to dissipate. But I look back at, you look back at moments, and maybe not, and they don't, like, maybe it's less apparent. But I remember taking in university and writing a paper that I was like, this is amazing. This is my best work. And having that mediocre score, and you wonder to yourself, if I had a more Caucasian name or different color skin, is this impacting? Or those times where you get an evaluation as a med student or a resident where, like, you hustled, okay, and your evaluation doesn't reflect that, getting that staff job even where, you have these great ideas, you have the ambition, you've got a good track record, you're good with patients, and people tell you you're not proven, and how much is me, how much is this, my skin color? I don't know, but this is what comes up when you're a person of color. Like things are stacked up against you, and it's tough. And I knew there was going to be some questions on like how do we handle things and what should we do and along those lines. And one of the things that I found, courtesy of Rael, thank you, Rael, if you're listening, this YouTube talk or TEDx talk, Rachel Cargill, she's talking about what people do, and Caucasians or white people out there. Like, I think there's three components in this, and one is knowledge. Recognizing that racism exists, knowing where it is, being conscious of your biases, your unconscious bias or subconscious biases. That's big. The other thing is to be empathetic, be kind, man. Like, this whole movement, like, you got Black Lives Matter, and then we'd be like, hey, guys, all lives matter. I'm like, yeah, no kidding, all lives matter. But we're not even saying, the funny thing is people aren't saying Black lives are equal even. Like, we're just saying they matter. It's like black lives exist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is very minimal request to be acknowledged. And this is apparently controversial. And I've seen these judgment things on Facebook, like, how can these people loot and do all these violent things into their own communities? I mean, the thing that drives me nuts is we've tried everything. And I'm not condoning violence, by the way, just to be clear. I'm not condoning violence. I'm not condoning looting at all. But when a young African-American man was kneeling during a national anthem, that was too much, okay? Made it as about the military, made it about no, I'm sorry. The judgment's too much. The third thing I would say is act. And, I want to thank, like, for example, Michaela, who's here, who's really helped initiate such an activity like we're doing today to be able to communicate, to reach out to a lot of people, but act. Like, I can't count how many times it's on me when someone calls out something racist and makes the whole room uncomfortable. It's on us. It's on me to say, like, is that appropriate? I'm like, that ain't right. But every single one of you out there could do your part and call it out and stomp it out when it's happening in front of you. And we've all had those moments. We've all had them. And y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. In terms of Black people, what can we be doing now? I gotta say, telling your story helps. I think you gotta be ready for the trauma it brings, as we talked about. But if you're ready, telling your story in terms of how your experience has been with racism, I think it could be extremely powerful and very enlightening to a lot of people that don't understand what it's like to be Black or racialized. So I think the more of us that are willing in our communities and within our circles, the better. The other thing I'm asking of our Black community is aim high. Like, you can achieve great things, despite the voices that are the messages that you see, despite having a racist leader of the free world. You can aim high and you can do it. Okay, that message isn't being brought up enough. Okay, you're gonna come across some obstacles as I talked about, and I want you to use that in some ways. That this George Floyd stuff and this anger and sadness that you're feeling. I want you to channel that, and I want you to channel it and say, you know what? I'm going to use that energy to achieve these great things. These people that are saying I can't do it, I am going to show them. Okay, enough. enough is enough. Enough of me being a handful of black people, black physicians in this hospital. Enough of us not being at the table, being able to help with guide decisions in terms of what's the best care provided for us. Enough is enough. And to do this, we got to hustle. We got to continue to inspire. We got to know that there's a community that are cheering you on. And, you know, I'm married to a psychologist, but I am not a psychologist. I don't even know if this is the best approach, but I'll tell you this much. This has been one of the main motivators in my life. When they tell you, hey, buddy, you can't play hockey. I'm like, I will show you. I'll play hockey. I didn't make it to the show. Okay. I ain't no NHL, but I can handle myself on the ice. They say, you want to be a doctor? Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a name that you're going to recognize, man. Kyeremanteng. Okay. You're going to do research. You're going to look at cost and research. Is that real research? I'd be like, you're going to recognize that name. We're going to show you and be one of the most productive research groups in the country, and we'll show you how we do things. Like, just be hungry, okay? And let's get a seat at the table so that we can help, you know, be role models, help dictate what care decisions are being brought to the table, because this is important. This is a way of really creating change, in my humble opinion. And the one thing I wanted to end off before taking questions was, especially to the youth, remember this: despite, you know, as I said, leaders of the free world that are telling you that you're not worthy, that we aren't equals, I want you to remember that you are beautiful, you are smart, you are strong, and you are enough. You are enough.